Speaking of an academic setup, personally, as a literature major, my field strongly focuses on a theoretical base. And while it constantly evolves, there is still a sense of stability. The constant change in trends in social media and other things, how does it reflect on the academic theoretical body?
So this is where people like Kishen Das come in. While we have decades of creating curriculum, talking about syllabi, putting things into a structure and having interconnected courses, at the same time, we need to constantly update ourselves. As I told you earlier, the examples have to come from everyday activities. So then when I invite people like Kishan and other young people to come on board of our industry advisory panel, this helps us to stay in touch with the latest trends in media and communication. And so we get them to contribute, give us suggestions to the updation of the curriculum. So I think that is one way of making sure that we are not just sitting on very early theoretical foundations, but actually moving with the times.
Also, I have another question. It's very personal because it's something that I dealt with. I had this proper moral dilemma. I'm very passionate about literature, yet to choose literature, I had this massive dilemma. Would pursuing my passion in an academic structure cause me to lose that passion that got me there in the first place? What are your thoughts on this as someone that's actively involved in content creation and an academician?
Yeah, you fight those demons every day. It doesn't get easier. I feel because after a point it does get monotonous. And like you said, as much as there is love for something, at some point it becomes like a very mundane thing. And every field comes with a bunch of factors which are beyond you that you have to deal with, right? It could be external, it could be the people you work with, could be the nature of the industry at that point of time. I'm not too sure about literature, I can't comment because I don't know too much, but with influencing and all of that, there will be lulls. There are months where your brands are, running in who they want to work with you. There are months where you don't have anything to say. You feel like an empty vessel where you don't feel like making content, when you have to realize that there's not much for you to do at that time, and all you have to do is just find a way to survive through that phase. I think it's important to be patient and to ride the tide as well. If you are expecting it to always be full of passion, maybe if there's someone else sitting in this place who has been able to do that successfully, they might tell you it's possible. But for me, I fight those demons every day. And I think it's not about giving up. It's about trying to get past those phases that's difficult. It's easy to give up. Trust me, years back, I decided to give up on content creation. I found myself a job. I was very happy for 2 years. But if you really love something, it'll pull you back in. And you just need to realize that there are some tough phases that you need to fight and get past. And once you get past it, you'll realize why you chose to be there in the first place.
Well, I'm going to echo him in many ways. I had a lot of passion. I wanted to become a filmmaker. So there was no intention ever to get into academics and be a professor. Not at all. Yeah. Right? But then at some point, many restrictions, societal limitations, whatever, call it whatever, right? Life comes in the way and you kind of drift towards something. But as he again said, if the passion is there, it will pull you. So I've been lucky that I can straddle both. The academic part of it enthuses me because then it gives me this connection with young creative minds. And so that kind of keeps my energy flowing. And it becomes a kind of motivation then that I can also do this still, right? Age is not a limiting factor. Yes. And so I ended up doing my films much later, but then got back to it. So it pulls you back. But I think what I will say is that apart from passion, any content creation starts with ideation and then you move in a process, right, to finally put your material out there. So in order to do that, I think the academic setup gives you that balance between theory, yes, but a lot of practice. Any visual communication course, any media studies course, any film and television course, we have enough balance between theory and practice. So there's always hands-on, there's always lab, there's always projects that kindle your creativity. So it kind of keeps you going. But then at some point, reality can hit you and you could go because parents, family, you need a job, you take up a job. But at some point, your passion will find its way.
I think one example taken from what ma'am said is, I had a professor in my college called Eugene sir, who I used to really like. And he used to do television production and script writing and all for us. So for some of my papers, he used to make us write a lot. So he'll make us write like 15 pages. And when I was sitting in college, I'd be wondering, oh, so much to write. How do I write these 15 pages? And today, you will not believe, it is like clockwork for me. If I sit down, I don't even have to... The only thing I do not procrastinate about is writing. Like I can sit down and I can write. If I'm sitting in a writer's room, what everyone else will do 4 hours later, I'll be able to do it then and there. And it's because, like ma'am said, that practice, is created for you. You know where to tap in for that creative idea to come. Even if I have no ideas, I can just sit down and write absolute utter nonsense. And I know that it's still a part of my process because I'm getting something out of my system. And I think that however creative you are, like you said, for the passion to stay alive, you also need a clear direction, a process for it to... Some people write work late in the night. I can only work early in the morning. So all these things help you realize that as well. Things about yourself and put you in that schedule for you to work more efficiently.
It puts you in a groove.
Yeah.
And if you go by any successful artist, any successful creator, you find that it's not just about their art and their innate creativity, but also the sadhana that we say, right? That you do consistently, you practice, you keep doing it. And somewhere the big idea will hit you.
And I really wish I could go back to college. I keep
Come to SaiU University.
I keep telling my mom that I really wish I didn't take any of my assignments seriously. And that today, if I could go back and I had those challenges in front of me, I would be so good at getting it done. And I just keep beating myself up about it, saying if I could just have been a little bit more serious in college, things would have been, not for the marks and for all of that, but just for the satisfaction you get.